On episode 9 of the Mainly Golf Show, I'm going to cut Marv off very post here. So we're here on the back of the, what the hell's the tournament called last week?
Byron
CJ
Nelson.
Cup, the Byron Nelson, which was an egg and spoon event for the people that couldn't be asked to play a couple of weeks before the PGA. Let's be honest, who were I can't remember who's
Jordan
Headley's
Spieth.
favorite. Spieth, Siwoo Kim favorite for an event. I think I said if you back in Jordan Spieth at 18 to 1, you want your head checked. And in the end, it was the first PGA Tour success win for Taylor Pendrith, who fell in at the
Who?
18th, having made a two-putt birdie thanks to Ben
The jinx,
Cole's
the jinx was against him.
Ben Cole's bogey in 18. Taylor Pendrith won by one, having gone into the final round with a two-shot lead. But Mav, we'll start with yourself as we always do. How much golf did you watch this past week?
Zero.
And right, so that's you being a golf fan, right? How badly do you think that is reflected amongst
Exactly. That just
TV
shows that
audiences?
yeah. My golf knowledge is more in the past, but I am still a golf fan. But obviously, I will only tune in towards the bigger tournaments, the bigger names these days. But even I couldn't bring myself to catch any of the last tournament. I'm just looking down. Jordan Spieth, he actually missed the cut. That's how bad it was last week, and to a point,
It wasn't that I'll interrupt you there. It wasn't that bad. It was just
it,
everyone
it,
was
it
much of a muchness, right? The cut mark was 6 under, and it was a case of everyone playing fairly just
but
better than average golf. There's no spectacular, there's no skill. It's a pretty soft course. I know,
yeah,
you said it's quite straight and you're looking to find fairways and greens, but it's a lot of just who puts well on the day.
yeah, but I
Um,
just think that's it. Last week for the casual fan, last week the casual fan was finding something else to watch, and that's unfortunate. That and maybe I don't know, maybe the PGA Tour in trying to push the signature events, maybe it dilutes the other tournaments on the schedule at times. Um, I don't know. That's one angle, maybe. But it's as we've talked about it. The problem is it's live and it's
you can't
fragmented
blame
and
Liv.
no. But as I said, if all the players were together, one tour, work it out, and no, at least on to a signature event this week, aren't we?
I mean, just go back to the point though. You blaming Liv. Is
No,
it
I'm
not
just
is it not Jay Monahan and the PGA Tour's
no. That's it. It's not. At
modus
the end of the day,
operandi is
it's
to
not.
find a way to resolve
Yeah,
this?
exactly. And it's I'm not blaming Liv. It's just Liv. That's it. Liv has caused the divide. Um, and I think foresight years ago when the Public Investment Fund of Saudi Arabia were putting money into football, etc., etc. Maybe some people high up in the PGA Tour should have seen this, should have planned, should have got ahead. But no, unfortunately, we are where we are now, and at times, not every week, it does feel as though golf for the fan. End of the day, if nobody cared about golf, golf wouldn't exist. It all comes back to the fan, doesn't it?
Yeah, like
Um,
as most sports
it,
do.
exactly. So yeah. So last week, no, I didn't watch it. I did actually check the live result just out of curiosity, but
PK. And did
no,
you check the result or
no,
just Brooks won?
just check the result. Saw that
Ah,
I think the winning team was 32 or 33 under the the team. Australians, God, the and I just noticed that the English team with Westwood and Poulter were even par for the week. And I just thought, retire. They were 32 shots behind. Ian Poulter, hand your live tour card back and retire.
why would he
Those,
retire?
you are
those
done.
guys like that. It's fine. They took the money. They were always going to take the money.
The fork has been stuck in
You can
months
understand
ago.
that. That's fine. Like, just take money before you do have to retire.
But at
An,
least,
an embarrassment to the game of golf.
I mean,
Poulter.
a bit strong. Look, they have appeal as a brand, as a commercial entity, which is why they're being used by Live. This is where even players like in their twilight of their careers become useful to a PGA Tour, right? And this is why the PGA Tour should
Anyone
have been
turned it in to watch
the
Westwood and Poulter?
Oh, look, I take the money. I'm not
no,
blaming them. But
the people aren't tuning to watch him, but the clout they will have in terms of sponsorships, and
oh,
again
oh, oh,
the activation with companies. Just let
yeah,
me talk, because I know about this. Guess what, dickhead? I've worked in sponsorship. They will have some kind of stroke to do certain deals behind the scenes. The reason why the PGA Tour have kind of the biggest example I can compare this to is when the IPL started. As if you remember, no England players were allowed to play because they're centrally contracted, and during that specific window, they were playing either preparing for a test campaign or whatever. England changed their schedule to allow those players go and earn your money in that 6 week spell and come back to us. The only not the only way, the best solution around this is you have like a live 6 week program where you play like 5, 6 tournaments in like 5 different countries, right? America, UK, go to Japan for one, and like lads, go and play your team stuff there, get out your system, and then I'll come and play the proper stuff here. Yeah, you play 54 holes, no cut, whatever, and then guess what? We're back to proper golf then after like the some after the FedEx Cup, right? Or something in the
Yeah.
spring before the season
Yeah.
starts. But they have to do something to get all the players together because last
Yeah.
week's field was just there is no real incentive or drive to watch that. And then likewise, if you are a commercial partner and you look at that field last week, you think that's not something I want to get involved in.
They sort of need a bit of a down week, though. Because, like, what do they just have the week off? Because they can't have 52 strong tournaments a year. Because even then, you'd start to get a bit, just here we go again, another golf tournament. Like, there's obviously has to be ups and downs, but maybe they should just take a week off. But then, obviously, from the business side, if they're still making money from weeks like last week, you're not going to do that. You're not just going to have a bye week. But yeah, it's obviously it's not good for the fans that people aren't tuning in to watch. It's
One thing I'd add is I suppose that the bye week you could argue is the week before, I suppose, the team event, but
yeah. I mean, it's just unfortunate they have to have this down sort of period. I mean, the next 8 weeks are really good. I think it's three or four majors in the next 8 weeks plus a couple 2 or 3 signature events. Like it's a really strong 2 months now. But yeah, you just when you go for these down weeks, it just feel like it's not even like a traditional course that people are going to tune in. Oh, it's Pebble Beach. I'll tune in to watch that. I don't care who's playing it. It's Torrey Pines. It's it's Craig Ranch or whatever it's called, and there's just no pull in weeks like last week. It's just
the problem is the build up to the Masters is so great because you start obviously in February, March, and you've got Pebble Beach, and you do have Torrey Pines, and then you have the Players, and you've got Phoenix, and you've got the Valspar and the Genesis, and it all peaks at the Masters, and then pretty much after that, it's like, if you are a casual golf fan, well, that's me, then I'll see you in another year, or I might watch a little bit of the Open, but the rest of it looks shit because you've built to a crescendo. Then you don't almost you don't. For me, I'd argue that the first 6, 8 weeks of the season, February through April, it's almost too well laid out. Nothing else can compete with it. And then the PGA Tour's kind of chasing its tail. I know they've removed
it does peak a bit too soon, doesn't it? Obviously, the Masters is everyone's favorite major, and that's first. You then have the California and the Florida swing before that, which are really classic courses, really well laid out, like you say. And now we're just into this bit of a Texas, North Carolina, until you get back into the majors. But yeah, it just.
And they've tried to lay out the format so that you have more of the national opens, right? So they try to make almost new tentpole events, whether it be Canada, the UK, right? I think the Scottish Open, which was the week before the Open Championship, that's now a signature event for the DP and the PGA Tour. But then after the Open, it's I think Canadian Open in August, and then it's the FedEx Cup. But the FedEx Cup doesn't really doesn't mean anything. You're just playing for 20 million. And again, you can't be kind of chastising the live players for just playing for basically a big pot of cash, and then, well, actually, this back end of the season, we're actually playing for 20 million here, lads. Live golfers get paid, I think, 20 million for winning each tournament, if I'm not mistaken, right? So it's a bit like they need to do something. But
there's just too much money in it. Like the money, the prize money for what they're actually worth towards like sales and marketing is just so out of proportion. As we were saying offline, Wells Fargo aren't sponsoring this tournament next year because they've got to pay the most of the prize fund, and the prize fund's now 20 million. When last year it was 9 million because it's a signature event, and then they've got to pay for all the stuff on top. And we've seen Honda go, and we've seen, last week who was meant to be the back, AT&T was it, and then CJ had to step in. Like all these big traditional insurance and banks and PGA's bread and butter, they're all leaving because it's too much money in the prize pools for what they get back in the investment. And I don't know where they're going to find companies to take these sponsorships on, because it's a week of a tournament having your name attached to it, especially if it's a week like last week. It's not worth 25 million.
No, and I think you are relying on a lot of, I wouldn't say goodwill, but you're relying on kind of long-standing partnerships, right? I think Zurich had been sponsoring in New Orleans for 20 years, I think, and they do a lot with charities. And look, to be fair, like Lowry and McIlroy will have probably at least preserve that tournament and the financial kind of makeup of that for the next few years, and that probably gives the tournament a shot in the arm, because if you are advertising the tournament and the previous winners, right, you have Lowry and McIlroy on stage like celebrating, okay, it looks good. If you've got Taylor Pendrith celebrating making a 4 foot for birdie 18 and was like, what the fuck's that guy? You know what I mean?
This
It's
one's got
like
this one's had two KH Lees, a Jason Day, and a Taylor Pendrith. It's like, and even the crowds on Sunday. Sorry, I watched the back nine. I think that was about it. But there was nobody around on like the 17th on that signature hole when the last 2 or 3 groups came through. I mean, it was all like built-in corporate, but there was no fans. Like, seemed to be mulling around or walking towards the hole or following it. It's just as soon as Spieth was out, I think they gave up.
if you compare that to the, I mean, I watched a bit of the China Open on the like obviously Saturday was all rained off, but on Sunday the crowds were huge in China.
Oh, really?
So at least the DP, I mean, fair play to the DP World Tour, right? They kind of they are aware of their position in the food chain, and like our best players, if they get good enough, or if they get financial offers, or if they get their card, they're off on the PGA Tour, and that's fine. But at least they've kind of rebuilt their schedule to try to maximize, like WWE, right? They had a big pay-per-view in France at the weekend, sold out, 3.5 million gate. They go to Germany in 2 months. They're in Glasgow next month. If domestic business is poor, you go overseas. And the DP World Tour have the Asia Swing. They have a thing in South Africa, don't they, around November time, which always does 3, 4, 5 tournaments, strong, decent. They go to think a few tours in Australia in the winter. Then obviously it's very busy over the summer. The Irish Open, the Scottish Open, they have Wentworth. I think they have the British Masters. And then if you market it well enough, you have big events in France. The National Opens in, I think, made in Denmark, right? The Spanish Open. I think Ram's come and won that a couple of times. So you change your product to try to maximize its output. The PGA Tour have almost like coasted on the back of Tiger for 15, 20 years without a plan B. Like, I think they've just kind of hoped that somebody becomes the next guy, right? And probably why you aren't a big fan of him, Marv. McIlroy was given every opportunity to become the guy and didn't really take he just didn't take that position, did it? Or he never made it to the next level. Same with Spieth. I know Spieth won 3 majors, hasn't really done something for what, 4 or 5 years, and now there's a lot of pressure on Scotty to almost. But to your what you saying off air, Scotty doesn't have the game, the makeup, or the charisma of a
It's
Mickelson or of a Woods to be the face of the brand.
Yeah, that's it. You see, just to add on the CJ Cup point, I think that the signature events they've tried to, that's it, because obviously years ago there was the World Golf Championships, so there was more
Mm.
strong fields, often, and they've maybe tried to push the signature. But I think even if the live golfers were on the PGA Tour, what we think, there's a handful or 10 at most, they wouldn't be turning up for the CJ Cup anyway. So I just think that, it was going to be a poor field. But back to sort of McIlroy, that there was a few of them, wasn't there? McIlroy, Fowler, they were all touted as potential, and for whatever reason, McIlroy, unbelievable start to his career. What was it? At least 4 majors within, the first 4 or 5 years on tour.
So if you
And
won 3 majors in the space of like I think 18 months,
yeah,
two
but I
years,
just and you see that's
2012 to
what
14.
it's yeah, and I just think, but you know, unfortunately, Scotty has got the game, and if you listen to interviews, Scotty, I heard a Tiger interview, and he talked about Scotty. And he said, "Look, the big thing I took away from him, he said, Scotty works the ball both ways." And for me, that means you've got all the shots. You can hit a high draw, a low fade. There's so many shots, but if you can't work the ball both ways, you're gonna come a cropper on certain golf courses. So and unfortunately, Scotty, he's just not got. Is there no drama with Scotty? Is there? He's just down the fairway on the green. He's routine. He's efficient, and you can't blame him for that. But he doesn't attract that extra bit of fan like, oh, Scotty's playing. I've got to see it. I've got to see it. And while there'll only ever be one Tiger Woods, and it was the way that the golf was in its standing of sports throughout the world, and everything from the background that Tiger came from, how he changed the game, etc. There won't be another Tiger, but the golf needs golf. Look, sport, the man golf. To me, sport needs champions, and because yes, it's nice that they that person's won one. Oh, great, but champions drives people to sport because they want to see that champion, that elite player perform. And unfortunately, when you get a bit of too much of a muchness, it dilutes the product.
You need plays that transcend the sport, don't you?
You
So
do,
that they
you
cross
do,
over
you
into the
do.
mainstream, whether it be football or cricket. Again, everyone knows Ronaldo and Messi. To a lesser extent, like Rooney, Beckham, even in cricket, like Ben Stokes or Virat Kohli, people who have performed at the
Yeah,
highest level, the crunch times, when all the chips are on the line, they've stepped up and made winning performances. Tiger did it in, you'd argue, three different eras. So we mentioned there like a Fowler or a Spieth or a Day or a McIlroy. They've done it in short bursts and they haven't done it over long periods, right? Scotty, I mean, this is why I was so against you saying Scheffler is better than Tiger. Like he's won two majors. I mean, I know he's had like little purple patches, but I don't think people understand like Tiger's tenure to win majors over what, but his first and last major 19 years apart.
yeah, I can't remember the exact number of weeks, but I think it's like 650 weeks at world number one through his career, which
I was just having a look at.
just 13 years,
I was
pretty
having a look.
much.
So Tiger won the Wells Fargo in 2007. And as he won that, it was his 57th PGA Tour win of his career. The only other person Mark Calcavecchi won some egg and spoon, basically like one of the lesser events in Florida, and that was his 13th career success. And Matt Calcavecchi was probably about what 45, 50 at the time. Oh, seven Tigers, what 33? And he's won 57, 57. And then he goes and wins the Bridgestone like a month later. And then he wins the PGA. And then he also wins the Tour Championship. And he won the BMW the week before. I think just on a different level. And to be fair to golf, then how does golf follow Tiger Woods? You can't.
Yeah, you can't.
No.
Yeah, to me, it's just it. Yeah,
But he's obviously had legends of the past, but you just need that new rivalry. Eventually there'll be something.
And
But
Tiger, and at least it's like Tiger had
Oh,
Phil, right? And
oh,
Tiger
yeah,
had
yeah.
many little rivals in between. I just think even if Scotty got in a rivalry with something, Scotty strikes me as the guy, but he just won't care anyway.
Oh, there's too much money. They're all billionaires. As we said, like the last
I
few,
think
they don't give
that's
a shit. Like,
coming back to
All got
live.
sponsors,
That's
mansions.
I got third. Oh, $400,000.
Yeah.
So what? Like,
That's the one thing I would add is that Liv has got a few of the characters in the game.
all the characters.
And so that's
Smart,
unfortunately,
mate.
and no doubt they picked those because of that. But yeah,
Even like the Whoppers, right? Like you think of it, like at least a Bubba or a Tyrrell Hatton, yeah, even Poulter, right? Someone who could just do a bit golf on the rails a bit.
yeah.
It's just very sanitized, right? Golfing. Like, if you even got Patrick Reed, like you said, I'd tune in to see Patrick Reed lose a big tournament.
Exactly. So that just proves the exact point, doesn't it? You've got to get fans in watching it, someone to perform and someone to not perform. If you get too many, if it's too PG, well, you're only going to get children and kids watching, aren't you? So,
Man likes his wrestling like he likes his golf. I want to see that attitude here a bit. Give me those chair shots.
You want to see those chair shots? You do. None of these pause, and then it's like, well, he's on the floor. What happened? What happened?
Used to watch that Sky One
Jesus.
11 o'clock in the morning,
God.
like the replays, and it's like, and it freeze frame, you're suddenly at the floor.
There's something wrong with the TV. What's going on?
Right, Heb, you missed it before. I'm looking on check it. Aberg's missing from a load of markets. Has he pulled out this week?
Just I don't know. Like I'm just looking now on that as well. He's Bet 365 have got him, so that's my
Sky Bet, Paddy Power, Bet Victor, Coral, Betfred don't have Aberg in any markets this week.
I mean, I've not heard anything.
That would also explain why a few have been cut anyway. Anyway, to point about characters, Aberg is probably a big future star in golf, but he's not there yet, and I wouldn't be able to tell you anything about his personality for the 23-year-old. Instead, Rory McIlroy heads the market, is the already nibbled 7-1 favourite. A little bit of 52 in places. Loves it around Quail Hollow. Again, I think, did we say he won it? I think a 3-time winner. He won it back in 2021, beating Abraham Alster in I think it was just after COVID kicked off, right? Very weird times. I also think he won a major. Hep, I'm sure you've got the stats to back it up, but why does Rory play so well around Quail Hollow?
Well, it's a bomber's course first and foremost. It's a long course. You got to hit it far off the tee to shorten those approaches. Otherwise, you're going to be hitting in from over 200 yards.
Yeah, but Keith Mitchell should do well then.
Fucking, it's not a Mitchell week this week.
It's
Although he
never a
did beat
Mitchell
Tom
week.
Hoagie, so I'm waiting for my cheesy puffs and Big Bobby's bastard nuts in the post half.
I forgot about that.
I didn't. I was tracking it every single day.
Is that the only reason you watched last week?
Well, I needed Hoagie in the top 30 to win a bet, and he didn't do that. But yeah, Rory 2010, 2015, 2021.
Shot 61, he didn't he, in 2015, I think. It was something stupid, yeah.
Yeah, he won by 7 strokes, minus 21. But yeah, the winning score is going to be, likely around that -10, -15 range. Although Clark did win last year at -19, but won by 4 strokes a second. So yeah, with a score like that, I always like Zalatoris. Always seems to do well in these tough scoring events. So yeah, jumping ahead to my first pick. You still get 40. Oh, he's been cut now to 40s. Top price in the market with a few people. But yeah, I think my first pick of the week is going to be 2.5 each way on Zalatoris.
Withdraw would him pulling out of last week be any concern?
Well, I don't actually know what he pulled out for.
Bad back? Did I read that right?
I think it was an injury rather than just couldn't be asked. So yeah, bit of a concern, but the market, I backed him at 45s this morning. He's into 30s across a number of places. So the market seems to be with me. It does seem to be a big price for a guy that does do well at these tougher events. But yeah, obviously, I did forget about him pulling out and the injury from last week. So that is always going to be a concern.
So breaking news for Ludwig Aberg. I'm reaching out to let you know that I'm going to have to withdraw from the Wells Fargo Championship. I was very excited to tee up at Quail Hollow for the very first time. Unfortunately, I'm dealing with a knee issue, and after consulting with my doctors, we think it's best to take some additional time to rest. I hope everyone has a good week, and I look forward to teeing up next week. Tell you what, Aberg with a knee injury, Scotty with his missus can't open her legs in time. PGA becomes wide open.
He was going to be my second pick.
It's like, well, you should put him up anyway. Get your money back. Can't lose, Hep. Might actually got a few points on the board.
Yeah. Cash those 5 points, money back. It's not minus.
Hey, to be fair, in my head as well, Aberg is the perfect type of game around Quail Hollow.
Oh, yeah, get him on the bomb.
He will win there a few times. He's actually been clipped, weirdly enough, by Skybet for the PGA this afternoon, 16s from 20s, so they're taking evasive action. I'll keep it very simple and say that's your picks are very sensible. Wyndham Clark I think he shot 63, didn't he, in the final round to win this last year. When he's good, he's very good, and I think you need a streaky player to win around Quail Hollow. He hits it miles. He's in good form. He's one of those. I always imagine him like there's been Marvel get this a new one, Celebration. So sick of seeing the ass of Franco. I think he finished second year like fourth, fifth times, and Clark's like, no, Chef, I've actually got a chance this week. Um, he's already been nibbled as well. Wyndham Clark, he's now into 14s and 16s best price. Wyndham Clark, 16th, won 5 points each way, six places. I can't see him being anywhere near outside the frame. And if you look at the field against him, I couldn't back Xander at single figures. Definitely couldn't back Rory as favourite. Hate Patrick Cantlay. Morikawa is damn, I don't want to say he's on the certain list, but he's hovering with it. And then would you really again Fleetwood, Hovland, not trustworthy.
Hovland
Clark
like
doesn't
last
really.
year, but not this year.
Tigala's probably one where I could see Mark picking him about. I think he's better 28s. But yeah, I'm surprised when I saw Wyndham Clark was 18 to 1. I'm surprised he wasn't at least second favorite. So yeah, keep it simple. And some of us are on good prices for next week of the PGA.
Yeah.
Paddies have gone
Ooh.
20. Wyndham Clark for the PGA.
He's
Best price 28 to 1 at the minute. But yeah, Wyndham Clark 5 points each way. Marvel, where's your money going?
Yeah, you're not wrong to a guy. There's a few in the market that are just too short. You kept Rory just up and down. One minute he could run away with the tournament, he could miss the cut. Patrick
You
Cantlay,
don't want me cheering him on, do you? You know what I
no,
mean? I just
Patrick Cantlay, what is he doing in his S four? If Aberg's out, he's fourth favourite. Come on, like, really? Morikawa, well, he's how many chances has he thrown away already this season? Fleetwood, come on,
two when
Fleetwood.
some of them backed him.
Fleetwood just placed a cash. Hovland, how is Hovland in the top 6 or 7 or 8 in the betting? I think I would go with Vigala. No strong conviction, but it was Cameron Young's a possible, but he's far too short. He's never won a golf tournament. I can't take Cameron Young at
I can't
25.
believe he's down to 22.
As much as he does have a bit of form around the course, look, the guy's got to win a golf tournament at some point. So yeah, my first pick will be Vigala. He is about
Cameron Young
25,
22 to 1.
28.
Yeah, that's
So
insane.
I think I go 3 points each way with the Gala and somebody else at a slightly bigger price that does have also a bit of course form is Corey Connors, roughly about 50s.
Corey
And
Connors.
it's not that it looks again not a strong conviction, but tied 8th last year and tied 21 the year before. So I go 2 points each way him, but again, no. I think for me, I'm kind of, looking a little bit to the week after. I quite strong convictions for the PGA. So those are my two
What's your lump, Scotty?
for the Wells Fargo. No, it's not Scotty for the PGA, but we'll wait till next week to reveal that.
Yeah, we'll do a teaser. You used to get these trends for I think it's just the PGA Championship in particular, right? Of people who were tick certain boxes. I'm sure it's worked like several times, right? I remember Bradley. I remember there's a few other ones.
Yeah. As we know, well, we can maybe do an extra long special next week. But yeah, if this is a Bombers course, then for me the PGA is even more important for how far you hit the ball. So that's the little tidbit. It'll give you a clue for next week.
I did forget. You have to put two up, so I'll change that and go 4 points each way on Wyndham Clark and a point each way on Adam Schenk at 80 to 1, who played better than the Bears. I think he finished on 17 under this week, but he had an absolute horror show to the front nine both rounds at the weekend. I think he was like 3 over after 8 and ended up shooting, I think, 6, 7 under through the next 9, 10 holes. So he's another one consistent. Probably, look, he's not going to win. He's not won on tour yet, but you're looking at someone to sneak into a place. And again, just on that, McIlroy 7 to 1. I remember having a good bet on him. I think here 2, 3 years ago. I think he was 8, 9 to 1, and he was 5, 6 under after the first round. And then just faded away. And I will never back McIlroy for a golf tournament ever again after that. Like, if you use the Scheffler comparison, right, you are playing at your favorite course where you've won 3, 4 times. You've got out in the lead. you are absolutely cruising, and you're just throwing it away either through concentration or poor shot management. What do you call it, Marv? Course management.
Yeah.
And you think
Just
that
look exactly when if you can't make a birdie, don't make a bogey.
but
It's
when you are in position to have everything go pretty much according to plan, and you still, I even get the place money, even if he's like tied ninth or tenth, I was absolutely fuming. Like that's no. And in my head, you think you want someone you're able to trust. If you're putting your hard-earned coin, as Ray Riley would put it, gotta be able to trust someone. I expect Wyndham Clark to go out there and pretty much play as best as he can, and not. He had a bit of bad luck, right? When we were on the master set, he spam back into the drink, didn't he? Was it 15?
Yeah, yeah.
When playing really well. He doesn't make that many mistakes. And I think it's one of the things, to use the acceleration analogy, right? To finish third behind Scheffler, second behind Scheffler 2 or 3 times, you are chasing the new benchmark.
The best human in golf.
Did you see the stat about the strokes gained for the last like 3 years?
I haven't. No.
Basically, every month for the last 2 years, Scheffler has been number one strokes gained, and the last one was Ram, which was maybe 3 years ago. And if you look at like who's paid and like who's finished second to most, I think they said it's a mixture between Xander, Ram, and Rory. But Scheffler every month for the last like 2 years has been number one strokes gained. So that's an unbelievable level of consistency.
It's incredible.
Just target it for 15. So anyway, Scotty.
the one thing I will say is that if Rory's at 7-1 and Wyndham's at 14s, at what price? We've had this discussion before. What price would you take Rory this week? If Rory was 14s and the same price as Wyndham, would you?
He'd have to be 16s, 18s, I think, Rory, to become a bet.
Yeah, make it a bit more like, runs into a place and you actually make a bit of a profit.
And I think
that's worth your while.
Yeah, and I think Xander's I'm sure I saw a stat like Xander's record with top tens is really impressive. I think he's made 25. I don't think he's missed a cut in more or less 10 months. And I think he's in the top 10 maybe with 16 out of 25, something really impressive. But again, 8-1, just it's skinny enough when I know you'll say like, you want to have a bet so that your guy you follows there on a Sunday afternoon. Well, Xander's going to finish tied sixth. Then I've had a great 4 days. No.
Yeah, he'll probably have a really good Sunday to end up like T4 like he did at Valspar or whatever it was when he was nowhere in contention, but shoot a -8. And...
Yeah, leave that to the golf chads instead. So give us your 2 picks and your points breakdown again.
Yeah, so I haven't mentioned my second one yet. So I was looking at Batia at 50s, but then I just scrolled down and noticed that Jake Knapp's at 140s. Guy is really long, had a really good week last week. Apart from Sunday, he sort of melted down a little bit before everyone else did.
Yeah, play try.
But yeah, he's 140s on Bet365 and drifting out. So yeah, I really like that. So I'm going to go 2 points each way on Knapp and 3 points each way on Willie Z.
You say drifted out. He's actually been clipped 140s, 150s this morning. They were top price on him. But
Blue's coming in.
But Hep's going for the mega super scoops, 2 points each way, 140 to 1.
Next best is 125s on him. So yeah.
Which means he's had £2 each way on it. So 2 points each way on Canap at 140s and 3 points each way Will Zalatoris. Do we give you the price you backed him at or the price he currently is now?
I mean, it's not going to win, is it? You can give me hundreds. It's not going to matter.
You can have the price after 2 rounds.
That's what just pay you magic beans. You know what I mean?
I'm still waiting for Big Bobby's bastard nuts.
Well, there's a little bit of 40 to 1 up there, so you get the 40s. Marv, give us your tips again.
So it was Thigala, I think 25-28, 3 points each way. And Corey Connors, I think was roughly 50s, 2 points each way.
If Corey Connors wins this tournament, I will pay you because he has got the absolute opposite game of what you need around here. But
well, he's going to say sneak into a place, then take it.
He will.
But I don't think any selection since we started this podcast. I don't think I've had a place in any selection yet.
Apart from
So
me
you
putting up the
you
favourite
made the cut yet?
chef.
Yeah, I'm improving it. So listeners, you know, what I mean, just wait for my pick. We will come good next week.
Big game
Yeah.
hunter, Marv.
Yeah, exactly.
I think did I get the place money with Schauffele at the Masters? That's about it. But you know, apart
Did you
from
make the
picking
cut last week,
favourites.
Marv?
I think
yeah,
Hogie did. Yeah.
Who was your second one?
Yeah, I think Seamus Power, which he had a bad first round. I know he did. Yeah. I think
200 to 1 if you want to get it back.
he was nearly last after round one.
All right, well, we'll see. But those are our picks for the week. We'll put them all in the description below. And again, we'll be back next week for the much more anticipated. And again, Marv will play the role of Stato for the week because his trends generally are pretty good for the PGA Championship. But we've been the Millie Golf Show. I've been Jack Milner, and the Sticky Bandits will see you both very soon. Ta-ra!